I don't want this to get old, but we need to keep this really before our mind, who God is. It's so easy to get sidetracked and get into the things we want, the things we feel, the things we think we believe, the things we think, and forget who he really is. He's all of it. And we're going to talk today about the jealousy of God. We're talking about his attributes. He's jealous in a good way. But we will talk about this, and as we do, we'll hopefully get a deeper understanding of who he is. There's a reason he's jealous. And when you understand why he's jealous and what he's jealous of, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. You're going to understand it even deeper, because he doesn't like being belittled. He doesn't care to be put down into a lower place. He doesn't have to earn a higher place. It's already his. It's his from the beginning. Anything else, man tried to lift up to him. He was already there. We talked a little bit the last lesson about an incomplete obedience, not fully obeying God. And we have this, and we'll cover other aspects of that at some point, but we have this where we serve God on a lot of things, but come certain little pet things, whatever it is for us that happens to be our pet problem, we excuse ourselves because we don't give it all to him. And sometimes it isn't just as easy as just, well, I don't want to do it no more. Sometimes it's a real struggle. Sometimes it's a hard thing to give it to him. We talked about fear and anxiety and worry. That's a hard thing for people who really struggle with that. That's a hard thing to give up. Not that they don't want to. It's part of you. It's a hard thing to turn it over. And to actually cast it on God, because your body, your mind, your heart, everything about you wants to think about it, wants to worry about it, wants to keep whatever that is in your head. It's just as difficult to force that out as it is for somebody who's terrified of public to walk up and talk to somebody. Come on, it's just as much there. We got to stop looking at my problem's worse than everybody else's. Everybody deals with different things. There's people who some things just absolutely terrify them. They really struggle with it. Where again, like we talked last week, there's other things for you. It isn't even an issue. It doesn't bother you. It doesn't even concern you. But you have a problem with this. And that's the way it is. We're all different. So let's look at this week. We're going to look about God being a jealous God. Sister Elena, can I get you to start with Exodus 20, 1 through 5? All right, we're going to do one more, and then we'll talk a little bit here. Exodus 34, 11 through 14. Sister Riley, can you get that?
Observe thou that which I command thee this day. Behold, I drive out thee and the Amorite, and the Canaanite, and the Hittite, and the Perizzite, and the Hivite, and the Jebusite. Take heed to thyself, lest thou make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land whither thou goest, lest it be for the snare in the midst of thee. Thee shall destroy their altars, break their images, and cut down their groves. For thou shalt worship no other God, for the Lord, whose name is jealous, is a jealous God.
So we know, we've read, we've heard, those of us who, especially the ones of us who were blessed to be raised on Bible stories from the time we were born. But anybody who reads much of the Old Testament, God's jealous. But do we really stop and meditate and think about that? What does that mean? What is it that he's jealous of? What does he hold so precious even to himself that it really, really upsets him when somebody else takes place of that, wants to take part of it, wants to change it? What is it that really, 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 really bothers him? Why is he so against man trying to worship anything else, setting up anything else? See, we always want to think, oh, well, I didn't set up a little stone altar and get down, or a little carved God and get down and worship it. No, I didn't put no other God. Is there anything you're putting before worshiping God? That's what he's against. It was a literal example because they literally were using idols then, physical thing. But it was only to represent what they were doing in their mind. You didn't have to have the physical thing in front of you to worship Zeus or all these other idols. There were times they went and worshiped in front of one, but they didn't have to have it there. They were worshiping something else before God, putting something else in a place that should have been and was his place, which was first. We look at it, if we step back and look at this from God's perspective, it'll help us get a better understanding of who he is and why he's so, why he said these things, why he's so jealous, but how careful we need to be. I'm afraid, looking at what the world's doing and looking at a lot of what you read in what calls itself Christianity or religion today, they've completely forgot and lost, if they ever knew who God was. Because if they would, they'd be terrified to be doing some of the stuff they're doing. Some of the stuff that comes out of their mouth. Come on, we went the last time Sherry and I went West Coast or East Coast. I want to say we went down Savannah and went all the way up to Charlotte, North Carolina, and back. I can't tell you how many Methodist churches we drove by with pride flags hanging on their fence or on their doors. If you knew who God was and what he's jealous of and how jealous he is, you wouldn't even consider that. It wouldn't even be a thought. It'd be a terror to you. Oh, no, that's not who he is. No, we can't do that. We not only can't condone that, we don't even want to be part of that. We don't want anything to do with it. Well, that's not God. And he has a place. He's a very jealous God about his place. That belongs to him. Jealous. A feeling of resentment because of another's success, another's advantage, rivalry, being unhappy or angry because someone else has something that you want. Jealous, intolerant of rivalry or unfaithfulness, disposed to suspect others of these things, of being unfaithful. Vigilant in guarding a possession. So we think jealous, you always want to think of it as one type of thing, and a lot of times the green with envy God. That's not all it is. Vigilant in guarding a possession, carefully protective of that possession. When we look at it in the Bible, the words that are used in the Greek and the way they're translated, they're intolerant of any kind of unfaithfulness or rivalry. Any kind. Does this help in the beginning of the Ten Commandments to make more sense? Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Don't set up any images to a God. Don't worship anything else. Don't even use my name in vain. And we'll get on to that a little bit later. He's jealous. Why? That's mine. My name is mine. It's me. It's so holy that the Israelites were terrified to say the name of God and just called him Jehovah in the way we would say it. They pronounced it Yahweh or something like that. They wouldn't even say what they understood to be the name of God because the name was too holy. I might be struck down for saying something and I'm not worthy to say it. We talk about maybe not being worthy to take communion. I might not be worthy to even say his name. Human jealousy, if we look at, because we see jealousy and we tend to get, well, jealousy is bad, jealousy is sinful, jealousy is evil. Well, there's a godly jealousy, there's a human jealousy. Human jealousy, we're tempted with things, it's an evil, harmful, sinful thing. It tears down love. Come on, whether it's justified or not doesn't have anything to do with it. It's what the jealousy does. It tears down love and respect. It tears down fellowship. It tears down relationships between individuals and groups of people. Whole groups of people can hate each other for something. They don't even know why they hate each other. They're just jealous. Come on. It ruins people's lives. It takes people to the grave, and they were never able to get victory over it. No peace. Well, it's hard to have peace when you're sitting in something just a canker. It's just eating you constantly. Every time you see or think about something, it's just right there. Come on, it jumps up right in front of everything. It's hard to have godly love when a jealousy gets in the way. And you know what? It's a real sacrifice to put that jealousy down and give it to God. That's harder than you think it is. Anybody who's ever had to deal with it, that's a hard thing, a very hard thing. This type of jealousy is negative. And this is what God's against. This is what you read in the scriptures. He strongly condemns it. It's an excessive concern because it's all about your own wants and desires. It's all about self. It's not about godly desires or spiritual things. It's about self. It's about what I want, what I wish I had, what I'm envious of. Even if it's a righteous thing that you should be the one in possession of it. You know, it can be that way, rightfully and wrongfully, in a relationship between two people. A husband and a wife, male and female, think they're in love with each other because one thinks the other one is cheating or in some way not staying as faithful as they thought they should. It can be a figment of your imagination. Never happened. And it still just tears up just as much damage as if it was real, as if it really happened. And even if it was real, it can get completely in the way of what Christ told us. How do you expect the Father to forgive you if you're never in a position to forgive someone else? Come on. We still got all the scriptures to deal with. We don't get to pick the ones we like. I mean, if we did, we'd have a real convenient salvation, but we don't get to pick the ones we like. It's all there. Human jealousy usually stems from insecurity, fear of losing something, or even fear of competition. Somebody else looks better. Somebody else appears to be more successful. Somebody else appears to be getting away with something you didn't. Come on, that's where a lot of it stems from. But what about godly jealousy? This is a different kind. This isn't about that kind of thing. This is a protective jealousy. That's mine. You're not doing anything to tear that down. You're not doing anything to hurt that. That belongs to me. That's the kind of jealousy God has. His concern is for his own honor and glory. I'm God. I'm righteous. I'm holy. I don't sin. I can't sin. Sin can't even come around me. It can't be where I am. It's not that I wouldn't let you, I don't want you to be in my presence and come be in my kingdom. Sin can't be there. It can't exist where I am. You have to get cleansed first to be able to be around me. He is not allowing anyone to degrade that. Even to the world, you're not going to bring that down in any way, belittle that, lower that in any bit. That's not how strong it is, how righteous he is, how holy he is. You're not going to belittle that in any way without him being upset about it. Well, he said, that belongs to me. That's mine. That's who I am. When we read the scriptures of God, he's always described very frequently as jealous. He's jealous of his honor. He's jealous of his name. He demands that we respect his status, give him his due. He is the Lord and creator of all. Come on. Everything within that is his. So everything within all, that's all his. All worship belongs to him because of who he is. Therefore, there's no room for any worship for anything else. Well, they're just lesser gods. This is the God of, the harvest or fertility or pick one. Doesn't really matter. No, he is. There's no place for another worship below him. It's all his. But anything you're putting before him, you're getting in trouble. Anything that gets in the way of serving God, you're getting in trouble. He is God. He's jealous of it. He's very jealous of it. We're going to read that here in a minute. Compare God's feelings to the feeling of a husband who has concern with love for his wife and vice versa. That love, they have a righteous reason to not want that being handed off to somebody else. God's the same way. That belongs to me. I don't belong to nobody else now. And just like a spouse is not voluntarily tolerant of any kind of infidelity or adultery, God isn't either. Come on, this is a serious thing. Oh, it's just jealous. He just wants us to serve him. No, he's God. Put him in his place. He's God. It's all his. Anything else you're doing, you're finding something else and saying, well, this can go between me and you. And it's okay. I still see you back here, but this is here. No, that's my place. That all belongs to me. Everything else you're doing, you're getting in the way of me. All right. Deuteronomy 4, 23 through 24. Sister Kristen, can I get you to read that? We're going to read several examples here. He's a consuming fire. He burns with anger whenever he sees things that are taking his place, things that are getting his glory, his honor, his worship. That upsets him very much. It isn't a mild annoyance. He's very jealous. Said he's a consuming fire. This really upsets him. So this is why it bothers me when people don't seem to have much concern about, well, what I'm doing, I'm not able to fully give myself to worshiping God or serving him or doing the things that I know he's commanded because I don't see nothing wrong with this. It's not that important. Well, I want to do this and this is when I can do it. Well, what about God? Have we forgot? He's a jealous God. He's very jealous of, that's my time. I told you the Sabbath was mine. It wasn't a discussion, and we're not a democracy. You don't get a vote. I told you that's mine. And you think he's not going to just follow the scriptures here all along through? He's a jealous God. Come on, he's a consuming fire. Sister Whitney, Deuteronomy 6, 12 through 16. Well, we're going to get a lot of warnings. And remember, as you're going through these, he has this little thing. He says, I am God. I change not. Oh, we're in the New Testament. He forgives easier. He doesn't change. He made it easier to obtain salvation, give you a little more leniency on learning and understanding how to get there. He doesn't change. It's not like he's going to ignore your sin just because, well, we're in the New Testament dispensation, I'll ignore it. No, I don't ignore it. I just made it easier for you to get clean of it. I made a path that was easier to go down.
The Old Testament, when we're learning about God, that's the personality we're going to be judged by.
Mm-hmm. But you look at today's world, look at religion today. You'd think this all got thrown out. You think that all the things God said about himself just didn't matter no more. Everything I'm reading, by the time I was done with Sunday school lesson, I was terrified. I'm a jealous God. Everything you're going to answer for. Why? This is mine. It's all mine. You owe that to me. You owe me your honor. You owe me your respect. You owe putting me before everything else. Why? I'm the one who made it all. There is no other God. Not nothing before me. There ain't no other one. Joshua 24, 19 and 20. I'll ask Sister Janelle to read this. This is Joshua talking to the people of Israel and telling them his feeling about them. Not making a prophecy of something. He's telling them how he feels about how Israel's been living. Sister Janelle?
And Joshua said unto the people, You cannot serve the Lord, for he is an holy God. He is a jealous God. He will not forgive your transgressions nor your sins. If you forsake the Lord and serve strange gods, then he will turn and do you hurt, and consume you. After that he has done you good.
And we'll pull this from two other translations that give it a little, expand it out a little better. Because he's telling them, you guys can't serve him. Well, come on, remember Joshua just went through them all the way from Egypt through 40 years to Canaan. They couldn't serve him. Not that it was physically impossible. They couldn't do it. They wouldn't bring themselves to do it. The Amplified said, when Joshua said to the people, you will not be able to serve the Lord if you serve any other gods. For he is a holy God. He's jealous. He demands what's rightfully and uniquely his. He demands it. He will not forgive you of your transgressions of his law or your sins when you go worshiping other gods. That's what he was telling them. I've watched you for 40 years. You guys can't do it. And he's going to destroy you. He's going to wipe you off the face of the earth. One of the English translations says, Joshua said, the Lord is fearsome. He is the one true God. I don't think you're able to worship and obey him. I don't think you're able to keep what he demands. You would have to be completely faithful, and if you sin or rebel at all, you won't get away with it. This is the God who doesn't change. This is the God that people think it's okay to ignore whatever they want to of what's going on, what he said to do, how he said to do it, what he showed us. It's okay to ignore it because I just don't feel like it. Well, it doesn't matter. He'll forget that. That God didn't sound like one who was really easy on that stuff. Ezekiel 39, 22 through 25. Brother Mike?
So the house of Israel shall know that I am the Lord their God from that day forward. And the heathen shall know that the house of Israel went into captivity for their iniquity, because they trespassed against me. Therefore I hid my face from them and gave them in the hand of their enemies, so fell they by the sword. According to the uncleanness and according to their transgressions have I done unto them, and hid my face from them. Therefore thus saith the Lord God, now will I bring again the captivity of Jacob, and have mercy upon the whole house of Israel, and will be jealous for my holy name.
Now you look at, if you study the Old Testament, especially at the beginning, up until the Israelites went down to Egypt, you learn a little bit about God, different things where he talked to somebody one-on-one. But you don't get the outpouring of his law and who he is till you get to Egypt. You start dealing with how he just started dumping it out on Israel, I'm sorry. And the first thing he did in Egypt, before he even gave them the law, I'm going to show you who I am. I'm going to show Israel who I am so that they know there's a God. And I am God. And then we go through the story we think of as a story. Egypt thought of it as a complete nightmare and a terror of 10 plagues. Believe me, when those plagues were happening while they were alive, Egypt didn't see it as a story. Come on. Some of the things that were happening there to them were just as much as a nuclear bomb. The firstborn of every single thing, not just person, died in one night. Come on, these people were terrified. And we look over here, well, the Hebrews, there's nothing happening to them. Yeah, that's their God. Oh, they have a real God. We've been worshiping all these animal-faced critters and things and sacrificing to this and that and all this, and our gods could never do this. Wow, they have a God. He is God. He's above everything. That was what his first thing was, to prove to him, I'm God. It's all mine. By the time he got to that plague, they knew he was God. So much so, leave, please, go away. Just take him and go, leave us alone, leave us in peace. We don't want to upset him anymore. We don't want anything to do with him. Just go. He was God. And from that point on, he was constantly, everything he was doing, he took them to Mount Sinai. He did different things. He gave them the laws. And he's trying to teach them, this is who I am. This is what I want. This is what I want to do for you. I want to be your God. I want you to be my people. I'll make a covenant with you. I'll make a contract, a promise. And I don't break my promises. If you'll worship me and keep me number one, I'll be your God. Ain't nobody going to touch you ever. You're mine. Here he is telling them, I want to bring you back. They had gone away. They got in trouble. I want to raise my name up. I want my name to be out there. I'm jealous of my holy name. I want people to see it. There's a God in Egypt. There's a God in Israel. There's a God in wherever it was. There's a God. And he's above everything. All these other gods are just toys. He's a God. I'm jealous of my name. I'm jealous of who I am and what people say about me. Sister Whitener, Nahum 1, 2, and 3.
God is jealous, and the Lord revengeth. The Lord revengeth and is furious. The Lord will take vengeance on them. He reserveth wrath for his enemies. The Lord is slow to anger and great in power, and will not whine. And in the storm, in the whirlwind and the storm, and the clouds of the dust storms.
Where's the big fuzzy teddy bear? Where's the God that ignores everything and everything's okay? You just think, well, I'm sorry. Okay, you're next. You're good. The Lord is slow to anger, great in power, and will not at all acquit the wicked. You're living in sin, there's no chance. You're not getting in. If you haven't gotten salvation, if you haven't come and gone through the channels and done it right, you're not getting in. He will not just ignore it. And you can look in Ezekiel 8. I didn't pull that one on here because it's a long, you'd read the whole chapter. But he's talking about, there was a time he was taking Ezekiel up in a vision to show him things. And at that time, Israel had allowed idols or images, statues, whatever you want to call it, literally to be raised up on the grounds inside the temple. They were worshiping other gods inside the temple of God. And he was showing them, I'm not having this. This is mine. That place was dedicated to me. And he was very, very upset. He said, that provokes me to jealousy. So much so, I'm not part of your temple no more. And he left. And you know what? You try to find a place and show me in the scriptures where he ever came back. Ever. Oh, they went and rebuilt a temple. They tried to worship there. You can't show me any scripture that says God ever came back to it. Just because we raise up a place and we go in and go through the motions does not mean God is there. Oh, we got to get over this thing. Well, we're having church. Well, we go. That doesn't matter. If God isn't there, you're wasting your time. You might as well be out in the field dancing around the daisies. Come on, if God isn't there, you're wasting your time. You're just going through the motions. He will only be where people put him in his place. Give him his respect and his honor, what to do to him. They recognize who he is. He won't be anywhere else. When people get to where they're all about who they are and all about their place, guess what? They are. They're all about who they are and all about their place. Because God's gone. The honor and glory left whenever that became about them. It left. He stepped out. And they didn't even know it. All right, Renee, Sister Renee, Zechariah 1 and 14.
So the angel that communed with me said unto me, Cry out, saying, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, I am jealous for Jerusalem and for Zion with great jealousy.
Now, why was he jealous about Jerusalem and Zion? Jerusalem was set up to be the city of God. That was dedicated to him. That was set up to be his place. And it is a type and shadow of spiritual Zion in a lot of the scriptures, the way it's used. He goes, hey, that was about me. I'm jealous of this. You guys are turning it into something else. You're doing something else with it. He was upset. Very upset. Zechariah 8 and 14, Brother Tony.
Thus saith the Lord of hosts, as I thought to punish you, when your fathers provoked me to wrath, saith the Lord of hosts, and I repented not.
I typed it wrong. I'm sorry. Can you get the second verse?
Verse 15. 2. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, I was jealous for Zion, with great jealousy, and I was jealous for her with great fury.
See, we forget things that were God's that he set up or that were dedicated to him. He's not jealous. Those are his. Man tries to change things and tries to do things different and go a different route and give it a different meaning. Those were mine. He gets very upset. He gets very jealous about it. He tells us here, hey, that was mine. That's mine. Paul, in 1 Corinthians 10, 19, and 22, Sister Alex, can I get you to look at that for me? 1 Corinthians 10, 19, 22. Paul's talking to him because he was having problems with some of the Israelites who were claiming to be Christians, wanting to go back and give reverence to some of the idols. It was very common in Corinth. It was a big city of idolatry. So it was a problem that some of the people were arguing back and forth about still being able to go worship some of the idols, or go to the pageants, the fun, the fair, whatever it was. They had big celebrations around worshiping the idols, the foreign gods. And well, was that wrong if they did that? Even we're not worshiping that God, but we have fun doing this. This is part of worshiping that God, and we enjoy this. Listen to what Paul had to say.
What say I then? That the idol is anything, or that which is offered in sacrifice to idols is anything? But I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils and not to God. And I would not that ye should have fellowship with devils. Ye cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of devils. Ye cannot be partakers of the Lord's table and of the table of devils. Do we provoke the Lord to jealousy? Are we stronger than he?
That's Paul's warning. I know that idol's a piece of stone. It ain't got no more power than any piece of stone in that driveway. But what they're doing is to devils. You're playing with something. You're playing with the celebration they're doing, and you know that their God is nothing. But what they're doing, you're playing with the celebration they're doing, and that's got devils underneath of it. You take part of that celebration, you're putting your soul at risk. I wouldn't want to do it. I wouldn't provoke God. You're messing with devils. This is what he was doing. Go study into what was happening in Corinth. And he was telling them that the idol has no power. It's meaningless. I wouldn't mess with it. 2 Corinthians 11, 1 through 3. Brother Javen?
Which God ye bear with me a little in my folly, and ye bear with me. For I am jealous over you with godly jealousy, for I have espoused you to one husband, that I may present you as a chaste virgin to Christ. But I fear lest by any means, as the serpent beguiled Eve through his subtlety, so your mind be corrupted from the simplicity that is in Christ.
Now see, this is Paul as a pastor or as a spiritual leader. He's having the same kind of godly jealousy over the saints. I've taught you, I've brought you to the Lord, I've showed you how he works. I'm going to be jealous of anything that gets in the way, tries to take that away from you. I'm very protective of you. I'm constantly taking you to the Lord. Lord, don't let this interfere, Lord. Don't let it get in the way. We're not going to read all the rest of the scriptures. We're going to look at a couple things quick. But he went through in Kings, the ones I have in Kings here, he's talking about where the Jews had and Israel had provoked God because after he had brought them into Israel or into Canaan, after he had cleaned out all of them that they would have. Remember, the ones who stayed, Israel wouldn't get out. It wasn't God. It was them. And then after they got established, you read about it, they got onto their third king after David, and they started raising up idols again. Bringing in idols. He goes, you guys started bringing in groves and idols and stuff. God gave this to you. God did this. He's jealous. He's really jealous. You set these up, and now you're worshiping these things. These are taking God's place. They're getting in the way. Christ told us, and come in Matthew 6, 24, no man can serve two masters. You can't worship God in this world, or Satan, or money, or whatever you want to put in there, your things. In today's world, we'd say you can't worship God and give your life to sports. Come on, politics, power, status, money. You can't do it. He's got to be first. If you're going to give it to both, one of them's going to win out over the other. When he talked about when he gave them what we call the Ten Commandments, we'll look at that quick again. God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of Israel, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. We're talking about a jealous God. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto you any images of gods, of things that you respect and worship, or any likeness of anything in heaven above, or in the earth below, or even in the water. Thou shalt not bow thyself down to them, or serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting in the iniquity of the father on the children 3 and 4 generations out. You're going to pay for it. Your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren are going to pay for it. I'm jealous. This isn't the teddy bear God that the world's trying to, everything's okay, just do what you want. Just you worship God the way you want to. No, he told you how to worship him and what it requires. And he doesn't just accept the other. It's not worship to him. We got to understand something. When we're not doing it the way where he told us, it's a mockery. You're saying my way is good enough. I don't have to do it your way, God. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for God will not hold him guiltless who take his name in vain. You look in the other translations, about half of them say this: thou shalt not misuse the name of the Lord thy God. The Lord will not let you go unpunished if you use his name in a wrong way. Thou dost not take the name of Jehovah thy God for a vain thing. For Jehovah acquitteth not those who take his name in vain. They're not talking about swearing as we talk about here, where people out swearing to each other. That is not what this is talking about. You're saying something is of God, or you are of God, or you're doing it in God's name, and you ain't. You're taking his name, putting it on you. If I'm part of the military and I'm out doing something and I say, hey, I'm Sergeant so-and-so, I'm in the U.S. military, I just took their name. I told the world I'm part of that military. What I'm doing comes under the umbrella of them. I tell the world I'm a Christian and I go do this. Come on. I got to be real careful. I'm taking God's name in vain if I'm not doing what he says, but I'm taking his name. I'm saying I'm his Christian. I'm God's child. I'm Christ-like. There's more to this taking God's name. There's other scriptures that will cover cursing. There's other scriptures that will let you know how God feels about that stuff. He's talking about using his name wrongly, misusing it, taking it and claiming to be his or of him or doing something for him, and it ain't. It doesn't match up. He's jealous. Now we need to worship him like he is. We need to serve him like he is. The song that kept in my mind all weekend, woke me up in the middle of the night for an hour. All weekend, I am because he is. Come on, if he wasn't, his mercy, his love, not just he created us, if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't be able to be his. We wouldn't be able to serve him. We wouldn't be able to live for him. We're only because he is.